Bit of breaking news for you here on LBC just before we come back to our conversation about Thomas Tuchel. It's a very, very sad bit of breaking news indeed, because I can reveal to you that the former One Direction star Liam Payne, aged just 31, has been found dead, according to reports coming out of Argentina. They suggest that he died outside a hotel in the Argentine capital, Buenos Aires, having reportedly fallen from the third floor of the building. Liam Payne dead at the age of just 31, according to reports in Argentinian media. He was one of the original members, of course, of One Direction, also as a child with singer Cheryl. More on that story as we get it. But just to break that news to you, has just come into us here in the studio. Former One Direction star Liam Payne found dead, very sadly, at the age of just 31. We can now talk immediately to Caroline Frost, an entertainment reporter. Caroline, a really, really shocking news story breaking tonight. Good evening to you.
Hello there. Yes, this is very sad news that's just come through in the last few minutes about the former One Direction star Liam Payne being found dead in Argentina, in the capital of Buenos Aires.
Just tell us, I'd sort of run through what I've got in front of me here. Tell us what more we know, Caroline.
So it's very sketchy at the moment. This is a breaking story and it will obviously develop over the night. But what we have are the reports from local sources that the singer was staying in a hotel in the Argentinian capital of Buenos Aires, and his body was found on the floor outside the building, with reports that he had fallen from the third floor where he was staying. So, it's a shocking and premature death for a much-loved star, both in his group of One Direction for all those years and then more recently as a solo entertainer.
And, just absolutely tragic at such a horribly young age. But you said there, Caroline, as well, an incredibly popular figure, an icon for many. I mean, One Direction, sort of bigger and more popular and more loved by many across the world than sort of almost any band in the modern era, I would say.
Certainly a generation-defining band. So joined the X Factor back in 2010. He joined as a solo performer, auditioning hopefully for what he thought would be a solo career. But Simon Cowell and Nicole Scherzinger had the bright idea of putting 5 young men together instead. And what originated was X Factor, was the One Direction boys, and they didn't actually win that year. In fact, they came third, but they were proof that you don't need to win the competition to take on the world. And what happened was that they had great management. They were very hardworking. They were very bonded initially. And for those years, they toured the world, and they also very much used social media. They're one of the very first bands to do that, which meant that they could reach stars as far away as the Far East and the West in complete contemporaneous sort of synergy. Fans got very invested in them. Of course, there were lots of rumours about them, and because that came with the territory. But for many, many years, very popular, seamless operation. And then Zayn Malik left, and they started to all drift in their different ways. And I guess Harry Styles is the great success story as a solo entertainer, but they've all had their share of attention, and they've all been in the charts on their own since. And Liam Payne was probably just as well known. He had a child with Cheryl Cole, so for years they were sort of one of those big, highly scrutinised media couples, and they remained very civilised. They separated in recent years, but they remained co-parents of their much-loved son, and he's gone his own way. There have been inevitably stories of relationships both forming and breaking up in recent times. I don't think anybody thought that he was at his happiest in recent times, but certainly, nobody was expecting this kind of story to emerge. And yes, here we are with reaching this abrupt end for a much-loved young star gone before his time. Extremely sad news.